Business is booming year-round now that the mines are closed. Better to spend a day with a pint than a pickaxe. Isn't that so?
My, look at you. I bet your blood would fill a blood...
Quite a fine skeleton beneath that hide of yours, isn't there? Yes, a lovely, sturdy thing. I bet it'll last 100 generations, if treated properly.
If I said you had a great body, would you hold it against me? Me? I'm Ramon! I may not be a genie, but rub me right and I'll make your dreams come true. No questions, please. Ramon does not ponder. He does not wonder. He only loves. Even true love has a price, angel face. Luckily for you, that price is but 250 golden coins. Fine. Break my heart. At least I'll go to heaven and see you there.
Goddess greetings, friend. Her greatness gave us fire, her greatness gave us earth, and my savvy brings you spells at the best rate in town. Come, give me your best offer.
Where the wind blows, the goddess breathes. Where the rivers run, the goddess weeps. How can I connect you to our eternal goddess, my friend?
At least they don't have that huge underside of a drink,
Better that than reeking of fresh blood.
What news from the mines?
No news, sir. Goblins will slice us to ribbons if we approach the bridge.
Unacceptable. I want those goblins out of my mine by yesterday. Send another man. As many as it takes.
We haven't enough men among us to take on even a few of them, sir.
Are you deaf? I said I want those goblins out. Make it happen, even if you have to spear Drexus yourself.
Source hunter, are you? What brings you to this neck of the woods? The goblins? The orcs? The cult? Or the whole pretty bouquet? Don't be surprised if you hear more than a few unkind words about yours truly around town. An overseer's got to enforce his share of unpopular guild decisions, you know. I'm finished with this one pony rodeo, though. I did my best by these roughnecks, and now it's time for old Brandon to take a load off. In fact, you may be able to help speed my retirement plan along.
We can think of more interesting ways to entertain ourselves than by doing Brandon's dirty work.
Do as I say.
Oh, I knew a source hunter'd perk up at the sound of a challenge. Between you and me, the Troll King's sitting on a piece of treasure of more value than even he knows. A metal called tenebrium that can fetch a prettier sum than its weight in gold. I intend to lift it, sell it, and live out the rest of me days in comfort. The devil's in the details, though, and I haven't managed to find a way to access the King's Cave, much less make off with the stuff without being noticed. But you're a source hunter. You can sniff out any point of mystery. So let's make a deal, You find the tenebrium and bring it to me, and I'll deliver you a few pieces of information about Silverglen, and Lawrence in particular, that are sure to make your mouth water. I wouldn't wish the wrath on me worst enemy, though. So let me give you a little something to contain the tenebrium bars. It's lined with the fragments of a special stone that keeps rats' ill effects at bay. Apart from Gungir's stature and incurable case of the uglies, he's not so different from a parakeet. Got a brain the size of a pea and a fervent passion for all things bright and shiny. The nutty oaf sits on a river of silver beneath these mines, but leases it to the mining company for a fraction of its worth in gold. He'd rather put those hefty minions of his on toll duty than mine these hills himself for 5 times the reward. I can't be certain myself where his cave is located, but at least one of those oaf lackeys of his must know where to look. They've got to do something with all the gold they've gathered in the course of guarding those damned bridges, haven't they? I'm no man to refuse a source hunter. Ask away, friend. That circus rolled into town shortly after the tenebrium was discovered. Some freak woman with a freak gemstone managed to cure rot by some strange magic and convinced most of the locals that she were the conduit of the goddess or some such tripe. A strange sort of substance, discovered here around 2 years ago, and folks have been clamouring to get their paws on the rancid stuff ever since. To the right buyer, it's worth more than diamonds. Rot! You're a curious sort of fella, aren't you? Ask around. Half the men here have a brother who died from it. The other half were cured by that cult. I remember him well. Decent man, strong-backed, but something of a funny accent, no? He managed to leave Silverglen alive, but as I recall, the symptoms of wrath were already upon him.
Well prove to be of incalculable value to us. And us, unfortunately, still includes you. Sue.
A source hunter! My liege, I am at your disposal. I am Lawrence, the representative of the mining guild responsible for operations in Silverglen. Please, valiant hunter, let us know how we can assist you. Oh, I am no one special. Merely a humble servant of the guild and shepherd to the happy flock of miners within this settlement. My only cause for complaint, Your Grace, are these awful goblins. They're starving us out, refusing even a single honest miner his right to work. Perhaps, my most upright highness, you might be able to help us with this little problem. You must forgive me if I become somewhat overcome when discussing it, my liege. To think how I've been betrayed. To think how the humble miners of Silverglen suffer. I invited a tribe of goblins to assist us in clearing the tenebrium from our mine, you see. The leader of the troop, A satin-spitting Satan named Drexis promised to clear the tenebrium and be gone. When the job was done, though, he and his band of totem-brained fiends refused to vacate. They've kept close guard of the bridges to the mine since, and they'll slice whoever dares approach them into ribbons. These goblins follow Drexis like lemmings, Your Grace, and if only I could undo the traitor, they'd slither back to the swamp they crawled from. Drexis's head on my mantle would save countless miners from a slow starvation, my liege. What's one goblin over countless disenfranchised workers? Please, Your Grace, I am completely at your disposal. Those brutes! I invited them here to save our valued miners from the ill effects of clearing tenebrium, and those interlopers met my invitation with a hostile takeover. They haven't allowed a single human miner past them in months, and meanwhile my men have all but forgotten their vocation and turned instead to their damned religion. Useless stuff, my liege. Worse than common dirt, but 10 times as difficult to extract and infinitely more dangerous. If only we'd known in advance the terrible effect rot would have, we would have stopped trying to clear it immediately. Yes, a dreadful business that. I've been fortunate enough to avoid the sickness so far, my liege, but my heart truly breaks for the families of those who've been afflicted. You see, my liege, when a miner has been overlong exposed to tenebrium, he begins showing certain symptoms. Gangrene about the extremities, fatigue, malaise. At first, we attributed these symptoms to, well, to poor diet, laziness, and general malingering. Had we known then what we've since discovered, we never would have continued operations. But alas, mistakes were made, and those we lost can never be brought back, no matter what that crackpot conduit would have one believe. My liege, you ought not to concern yourself with the fraudulent leader of a crackpot cult. Really, the whole affair is an utter embarrassment to Silver Glen. Some insane huckster calling herself the conduit of the goddess made her way to Silver Glen at the height of the rot hold on our miners. The people were desperate, you see. When by magic or illusion she managed to cure a handful of them of the affliction, every last one of the bunch began speaking of her as though she were some messiah. Now most of the town is taken with her little cult of immaculates, as she calls them. Fortunately for her, she disappeared shortly after her little trick. Or I would have thrown her into prison and swallowed the key myself. Imagine hypnotizing an entire town with nothing more than snake oil. Ah, yes. Ben. Of course, one of our many noble miners, Your Grace. A smallish man. I believe he's around here somewhere, isn't he? Enough to know the whole institution has been a blight on productivity. With the blessings of the conduit to replace a sense of a job well done, the miners care hardly at all for getting the mines back in good working order. Preposterous! What does that foreigner know about the affairs of Silver Glen? You do best to do as I do, my liege, and turn a deaf ear to her insane accusations.
What's that gleam?
Fortune!
I don't mean to make trouble where there ain't any, comrade, but in my years of hunting source, I learned that anyone so eager to climb into your lap after a moment's meeting is hiding something they hope you won't discover. I'm not saying this Lawrence character is involved in sorcery, but it wouldn't exactly surprise me a lick to find out he knows more than he's letting on. Warms my heart to picture him squirming about plain as day with 3 seasoned source hunters on his tail. Nowhere to hide his sniveling mug than at the bottom of a burlap sack.
Nothing but breath and whispers.
Welcome, friend, to our sacred town. The conduit herself appeared here and brought we sick and worried miners into her fold. Now we are immaculate, one and all.
Never fear, friend. The conduit has shown us the way to salvation, the way to perfect health. Goddess's blessings upon you.
Goodness above. Have you ever seen a creature more pathetic and fumble?
Never fear, friend. The conduit has shown us the way to...
When it first started to appear, rot began to undo us more successfully than marauding orcs could. But then she came. The conduit.
Brandon's the best overseer there ever was. No one's a more eager miner than he is. Wonder how he avoided catching rot, though.
Blessed be the goddess.
Diligently will I read the words of the goddess.
Immaculate I want to be. The blood of the lost will flow.
Blessed be the goddess, and blessed be the conduit.
Immaculate I want to be. The blood of the lost will flow.
Bow before the goddess and bow before her mouth on this earth, the conduit.
Blessed be the goddess,
Hold high
and
the
blessed
knife,
be the
and
conduit.
Immaculate I want to be.
Lost, so
The
that
blood
by
of the
their
lost will
blood
flow.
we may redeem this downtrodden realm. Immaculate it was, immaculate it may be again.
Diligently will I read the words of the goddess.
Diligently
Give
will
me
I
the
read the
strength,
words
O
of the
goddess, to
goddess.
become enlightened.
Give me the strength, O goddess, to become enlightened.
Blessed be the
Let me
goddess,
spill blood
and
for thee,
blessed
O
be
Holy
the
One.
conduit.
Diligently will I read
Give
the
me the
words of
strength,
the goddess.
goddess,
will I
to
read the
become
words of the goddess.
enlightened.
And behold, said the goddess, the blood is the life. Free art thou to kill this lesser, for its soul
Immaculate I
is
want
lost
to
and
be.
impure.
The blood
With
of the
its
lost will
blood, better
flow.
thyself, and in time thou too wilt become an immaculate.
Let me spill blood for thee, O Holy One.
me spill blood for thee, O
Give
Holy
me the
One.
strength, O goddess, to
The
become
goddess is the word. Through the conduit she speaks, and through me her wisdom is repeated. How may I enlighten you? Then it shall be my pleasure to answer them. Do you hold it to be true, O Seeker, that you are ready to be? Blessed be your willing spirit. We commence. Premise the first. In honor of the goddess, that which was stellar must become sanguine. Correct?
Agreed. That is correct.
Premise the second. The blood of the greater should be used in service of the lesser, so that balance may be achieved. Correct?
That premise is correct, actually.
Give me the strength, O goddess, to become enlightened.
Give me the strength, oh goddess, to become.
Come on now. You're smart enough to know I'm right.
Very well, have it your way.
Premise the third. Only those who have partaken in the spilling of...
Yes, that is in...
Your knowledge has been weighed, and you have been found wanting. Begone, aspirant. Remember, O brothers and sisters, O seeking...
Let me spill blood for thee, O Holy One.
The goddess is the word. Then it shall be my pleasure to answer them. Do you hold it to be? Blessed be your willing spirit. We commence. Premise the first. In honor of the goddess, that which was stellar must become sanguine. Correct?
Agreed. That is correct.
Premise the second. The blood of the greater should be used in service of the lesser, so that balance may be achieved. Correct?
Yes, that is incorrect.
Premise the third. Only those who have partaken in the spilling of blood and thereby created the stone that lives, the stone soaked with blood, may be called an immaculate. Correct?
Agreed. That is correct.
Most gratifying. Oh, yes, most exemplary indeed. You have understood the words of the goddess, and I deem you worthy of her true test, of the true trial that shall make you an immaculate. We are the chosen ones of the goddess. The benedictions of the blood render our bodies and spirits unblemished, for such is her mercy, that we may all become part of the sacred soul. And you too, Seeker, could become one such part. The conduit, yes. She, the most exalted of all, second only to the goddess. It was she who brought us first her divine words, then her divine will, a will made real in the goddess is the light and life of all. The few, the proud, the enlightened, theirs will be her kingdom. To become an immaculate, you must experience both the goddess's bane and her boon. Leave Silver Glen and take the western path. Follow it to where the winds howl and a great skull looms within the rocks. There you will find it, the hollow and the true trial within.
God for thee, O Holy One!
Immaculate I want to be. The blood of the lost will flow.
Immaculate guards bar the way, but tell them you have my blessing and they shall let you pass. But take utmost care, the road is beset with horrors, and your mettle will be truly tested before you've even set foot within the goddess's trial. It would behoove you to train in advance of setting upon that treacherous path. Good luck, Seeker. I shall await you in the Chamber of Blood.
Poor man. It seems he was eaten by a beast.
Well, partially eaten, to be more precise.
You there! Your night ship! Oh, please, come to our aid! My wife and I are stranded here! Oh, we're refugees, my liege. Two of the far too few souls that managed to escape Hunter's Edge when the orcs invaded. We were hoping to reach Silverglane, but we were attacked by highwaymen. Those devils would have scalped and skewered us if it hadn't been for Alfie. Oh, the brave creature bit one of them in half, though not before being frightfully wounded himself. Oh, it was naught but a small stop for trading folk along the long road south to Sicil. Well, we got along all right, but now our little home's finally been undone. Orcs invaded, and the source hunter who was meant to protect us didn't save a one of us. Bravest beast of burden in the borough is Alfie, but the poor blighter's bleeding like a stuck pig and can't move no more. Which means we can't move no more either. Why, it would be folly to abandon a bandit killer in a wood full of bandits now, wouldn't it, your knightship? Besides, all our worldly wealth is strapped to his back. We'd be destitute without it. And yet, we can hardly stay here forever. Silverglen is close enough to see the chimney fumes from here. Mara absolutely refuses to leave Alfie's side, and like I said, I'm inclined to agree with her. If only a stout champion would, step up and lend us a hand. Oh, we'd be mighty grateful if you would escort us to Silverglen, your knightship. For it is our aim to set up shop there. A new smithy in a new town. Without Alfie, though, without the tools he carries, I'd be like a fisherman without his rod, grasping for salmon with his bare hands. Never could I produce the quality of work for which I'm renowned. Our predicament is clear, and the biggest problem is that Alfie's wounds are so dire, no ordinary healing potion will work. He needs... well, I don't know what he needs, but they say miracle cures are produced by the priests of Silverglen. Oh, we are, my liege, though like I said, it would grieve us dearly to leave Alfie behind.
We most certainly do not. We should leave for Silverglen right this instant. You're a great source hunter as it is. What need have you for better equipment?
No, we'll do as I say and there's an end to it.
I'm glad you've agreed Alfie needs to be saved before we can depart. Please leave no stone unturned in your search for a concoction that will heal his wounds.
I need a moment to reflect. What good is a source hunter without a healthy sense of self? It takes a strong eye to face the powers of darkness, after all.
I'd put you first too, if given the chance.
I knew that man, comrade. A fine blacksmith, Bjorn. It gladdens me more than you can imagine to see he and Mara escaped Hunter's Edge. But it's no wonder he blames me for what happened there. Well, it started like any other day, comrade. I told you before, and this much was true. Hunter's Edge was a quiet place. There hadn't been a peep from the Phantom Forest in nearly a century, and save the occasional drunken orc wandering in from the west, There was nothing for any of the townsfolk to fear. I was on patrol one sunny afternoon when I stumbled upon a pair of scrawny orcs building a fire. Bellowed at 'em to get, but they went for their swords instead. Well, I made short work of 'em, but I couldn't find their tribe insignia anywhere.
I'm fine. Don't worry about me. But how about you close your eyes for a bit? Have a rest.
Close my eyes in the middle of Lucula Forest? Chances are I'll never open them again. No, we must remain vigilant.
What I did find was a deep red, apple-sized gemstone in one of their pockets. It was warm in my hand and seemed far too fine a treasure to belong to an orc. You and I both know that now, but then my senses were dulled by years of peace. I'd grown soft. I was foolish. I figured it to be an oversized ruby, and it was the worst misjudgment of my life, comrade. Their kind never did take a shine into such finery, so I assumed it had been stolen for its trading value. I pocketed the gem and planned on sending it up to Academy North for the Order to deal with. All was peaceful back at the village. All was quiet. If only I'd known then. If only I had paid attention, had seen the signs. Night had only just begun to fall when they surrounded us. It could only have been a few dozen, but they swarmed like hundreds. Those of us who resisted were immediately cut down. I watched the blood of innocent villagers spill into the streets. I saw their bodies hit the ground. People it was my job to protect, comrade. I made myself promise that night, comrade. Never again would I let another sign of source pass me by unnoticed. Never again would I fail in my sworn duty. It's a promise I intend to keep. Let's discuss it another time, comrade. It ain't easy for an old bear like me to greet these ghosts. For now, maybe we ought to soldier forward. Plenty to be done around these parts, eh? Ready to advance? Ready to defend?
Please don't leave us to our own devices, your knightship.
Oh, how good it is to see a human face in these odious woods filled with nightmares come real. Do forgive me if I seem a bit bedraggled, but we've had a frightful time of it of late. My husband Bjorn's a blacksmith, of some renown as a matter of fact. A favourite with the legionnaires that passed through Hunter's Edge, or used to, I should say. He hasn't a head for business though, and that's where I come in. We made a good living, he and I, in that quiet little town. Orc plunder now. What is there left to say, really? I could tell you it's more wholesome than Syceal, but then the orcs came. I could tell you it's cozy, that the people there are nice, but then the orcs came. All you'll find there now are broken dreams and broken bodies around orcish bonfires. Hunter's Edge? It no longer exists. Oh, I do hope you can heal dear Alfie. He deserves every care he can get after saving us so valiantly. Or perhaps he was just hungry. Still, the result is the same, isn't it?
Heed our call for assistance.
Ooh, the pain. Demons take all bandits. I bit one of the buggers in two, and still he stabbed and stabbed before he finally croaked. I have no idea what I am really, only that I was caught in a snare when I was very little. Luckily, the hunter thought I didn't look quite appetising enough to be eaten, and so he sold me to Mara. Bjorn didn't like the look of me at first, but when I grew strong, stronger than 5 stallions combined, I was suddenly promoted to carrier beast. Were that I was weak, for I loathed carrying things. Bless your heart merely to suggest it, my friend, but you'll need powerful magic indeed to cure this devilish gash. I've heard they dabble in healing rituals in Silverglen, which is, ironically, the very place we're unable to reach, us three.
A solution will present itself. I know it. Legionnaires are bound to patrol the area, aren't they?